Hi there. I'm Andrew, the player behind Thorn Stormblade, and you are watching the COS weekly update. Cheers.
Hello and welcome to the second Skyrim update. Back in my room, not outside. Sorry, can't yell at nature today. It was raining. I yelled at her a lot earlier. So yeah, welcome. This is the second one. It's official. I actually have notes, so it shouldn't be as scatterbrained as it was before. So let's get on with it. First thing first, thank you, Jordan and Alexander, for doing those little intro videos. They're really cool. It's the only two I have those, so send some more so that I can feature them. I still want a different splash screen for the intro, so I don't know if Delric will make a new one or if somebody else wants to make a different intro. Still up in the air. With all of the work recently that I've been putting into scrollplay, this show may or may not happen weekly. I don't know. Depends on if I find time to do it weekly or not. But that's something that... I don't know. I'll just do it when I feel like it. Speaking of scrollplay, I was featured in the last one. Just, I wasn't like on it personally, but the info that I told Floyd was on it. And that'll probably happen with every scrollplay. So, if you watch those, you'll get to see all the info, which is really cool, and then everybody else will get to see all the info, and more people will come to the show. And possibly maybe our roleplay. So that's awesome. But yeah, that's that. We get right on into it. We're going to talk about some events coming up, because we got a lot of events coming up. And one of them is actually today on Friday, so if you're watching this, probably stop watching this and go on Elder Scrolls and go to the event. For the Thaw Festival, which is being hosted by Hammer of Atmora and Reeman's Dream in Followstone Hall. It's a phased area though, so if you are going to it, make sure you do the quest. You have to do the quest in order to interact with the rest of the people. Unless there's enough people going where there's two different things going on, or a low level but that's probably not going to happen. Just do the quest. Find somebody to run you through the quest. Yeah, the Thaw Festival, spring's coming. The thaws are ending. There's not as much ice everywhere. Not as much. There's still ice everywhere. But it's manageable. So before you go out and load your boats up with all sorts of things and go adventuring, get drunk, forget that winter even happened, and carry on. So yeah, contact Tavard or Maximus. I can't say your first name, Maximus. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to. I think it's Hieronymus, but for some reason I think that's wrong, and I certainly can't spell it. But I will definitely leave your @name in the description. The second thing coming up is Sunday the 5th? Yeah, the 5th at 9 Eastern is a celebration of the life and death of Remus Samaras. And of course of lots of other things, because when people get drunk they celebrate all sorts of things. So that's going to happen. That one is going to be run by Adonis and Valthorian, so if you need to get information, contact them. The events are also posted on the site. So, and then 3 days after that, we're going by the rule of 3 apparently. On April 8th, which is a Wednesday, it is the weekly Tavern Night hosted by Order of the Raven. Last week I don't know, there was lots of people. And the week before that there was lots of people, and I think the week before that there was lots of people. So you'll find some roleplay. Somebody might get murdered, who knows, we'll see. Saturday, April 11th is the bi-weekly Hammer of Atmora PvP event, so if you love PvP, join up with them, and they will most likely slaughter some things. I've heard they're very decent in what they do. I've never joined because I can't get into PvP, it's not my thing, but everybody goes out, usually gets drunk, has a good time, and then you might be featured in a music video called Fat Bottom Nords. I'm not sure. So yeah, that's the scheduled events right now. Also, I want to start doing the Draugr events where either myself or somebody else will DM an adventure through a tomb with people dressed up as Draugr, and then that Draugr plot line will eventually lead into the Reachman plot line in May. So, if you come out to the dungeon that we're doing, expect to find information about maybe a cult or some Reachmen, and then you can start piecing together stuff that possibly something's going wrong. We'll go from there. I've heard recently that people don't know that we have a calendar. We do have a calendar on the site. It's just not labeled calendar, it's labeled events. And if you click on the events tab, there is a calendar that you can read and see everything, and you can post stuff to it. It's amazing. So yeah, there's a calendar. Simple. Click, read, post, done. Let me see here. Then we got, the next thing is actually the Reachman plotline, which is coming up in May. Floyd posted a thread on it on TESO, or TESO, as Goddard says it. And then you can find all the info on there. It's going to be a non-scripted, non-planned react, figure out where the plotline goes from your interactions. There's a lot of people already interested in rolling Draugr alts. So there'll be plenty of bad guys. Or not Draugr alts, like Reachman alts. They have like a whole sub-guild formed and everything already. It's looking really cool. So we'll see where that goes. It's going to be amazing. It should be almost all of May. I'm not sure exactly. We haven't planned much more than like the intro phases yet. But there's going to be a lot of events, and it's going to be really awesome. And then recently, Asgot, I finally learned how to say his name properly, Asgotter. He posted a thread on TESO and on COS that he is starting up it's a Mage Conclave event where it'll be sort of a big giant festival where the final location's not figured out yet. It might be Fort Amal, where there's going to be a lot of mage activities going on. You'll have alchemist supplies, enchanting supplies. If there's a fortune teller, I believe, stuff like that. Anyway, in the interview after this, me talking, he won't post. It's been one of those days, people. He will talk more about it. I'll let him explain it more because he can do better than I can. But that will be on the 25th of April at 6 p.m. So yeah, speaking of Asgotter, I interviewed him. I finally got around to doing an interview, and that will be coming up right now.
Hello and welcome to the show. I'm not going to say your name because I want you to say it and clear up the air yourself. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, this is Osgot Greywind, and actually, as per Nick's mention, a little bit about the name. You notice there's the R after Osgot. Now, it's actually because the name is an Old Norse name, a Old West Norse name, and in that language, depending on the grammatical usage of your proper nouns, they will sometimes have an R at the end. So in the case of using it as the subject of a sentence, it has an R at the end. So when I'm introducing myself, I would say Osgotta Greywind. But if you were talking about me having done something, then you would drop the R. So that's why that's there, actually.
See, I'm mostly German, and we pronounce things like heavily with every syllable pronounced. So to me, it was always Asgauter.
Yeah, so you do pronounce the R, but only sometimes, only when it's the subject of the sentence.
So you clearing up your own name only made it more confusing.
Yes.
Fantastic.
But for
I'm
the
glad we
intent
got
of the
that.
game, you can say Osgotta Greywind.
It's gonna be Asgauter forever, man.
I'm fine with that.
All right. Let's just go through why you made that character and what was your thought process behind it. Go from there.
So the character's actually been around for almost since beta. since beta, I made him actually on the very first day. The original character concept, when I was just kind of playing around with him, he had actually originally started as a hunter and an alchemist. But as I played through him and I started kind of, role playing more, and as he got through some more experiences, I realized more and more that the alchemist and the healing side was bigger. So then he kind of grew from that original concept, becoming more and more of a mage based character. And then it was probably about, I don't know, 7 or 8 months ago, um, that he really kind of went fully in that direction. And he kind of made his first, I guess, public appearance as a purely mage character, during the big Scathcraw fever incident. Yeah,
Oh,
that's what it
okay.
was.
That problem in Evan Hart.
Yeah, yeah. So he was one of the healers working on that, and it was actually where I met another wonderful role player, Dane. His character name is Nivius, but yeah. So him and I had some really good role play, and that was when I really just went full on as a mage, and it really just went up from there. So yeah. And then from there, let's see, I ended up joining Hawkheart, and I was working as a mage there until eventually, actually, after a long discussion with you, decided to form the Askeld Fellowship, which was the first really purely mage organization in Skyrim.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
remember you were hanging out in the Vigilant for a while. You're like, yeah, I'm just trying to, figure things out what I want to do. I'm like, you don't see very many Nord mage guilds, and you seem to want to do it. You should probably try to run one yourself.
yeah, and it was fun, and we had some really good participation in there. And I mean, we were small, but honestly, I think something that specific is always going to be small. But had some really cool, solid RP and a lot of great interactions with the other mage organizations of the Pact as well. And then at about very recently, about a month ago, I would say, the Askeld Fellowship decided to merge into Hamravat Mora, um, which has been a great experience for the both of us because we had kind of decided because we had some overlap in membership previously. Asgard had been a member of the Hammervet Mora for some time, and discussing sort of our general political stances and our views on things as a whole, there was just so much overlap that there was really no reason not to. Because we both viewed ourselves as, really Skyrim guilds, not necessarily Nord only, but definitely of a Nord cultural kind of emphasis. And with the Hammervet Mora being a companions-based guild, and the Askeld Fellowship actually being sort of originally conceived as a satellite school of the College of Winterhold, we figured that that kind of marriage of those two very old and respected organizations of Skyrim would be really fantastic for everybody involved.
Yeah, I think it would very well that merge. You guys like you have the fighters, and then you have the learners, and like
Yeah.
the wisdom.
Well, and the other really nice thing that for us has been that since we have merged, we've also encouraged more, I guess you could say, cross-class dabbling. So my mages, that I brought in have been doing more, more melee training and picking up some weapon skills from the fighters in the Hammervat Mora, and then I've also been getting some of the original companions of the Hammer coming to my mage events and developing some skills there. So like some people have been picking up some healing skills, some alchemical stuff. So it's been nice because it's just really expanding the potential types of RP for everybody involved.
That sounds a little scary, to be honest with you. I don't know if I want like Havard running around throwing fireballs from his hands.
Oh God, nothing like that. No, Havard, he restricts himself to being, I guess you could say, at best, a battlefield surgeon. So he can stitch people up and maybe put a poultice on it. But yeah, oh God, that would be terrifying. And you will,
That would not
yeah.
face well.
And on the flip side, you will not be seeing Asga running at you with a two-handed sword anytime soon.
We'll see that one. I might just laugh at.
Yeah, that would be a little bit hilarious.
All right, cool. So let's talk about this new thing you've come up with. You've drummed up with who was it? Malfaction and Dracenth?
Yeah, well, actually, it was originally myself, Malfunction, and Chiara Telvani, and then had also talked to Lil from Shadastula. So I'd kind of had this thought, again with the whole lack of general mage organizations, that since mages, role play wise, and in the lore, have always kind of had their own slightly separate society. You kind of have your dedication to your craft. So I'd always kind of thought that it would be really cool and fitting if we sort of had a separate venue where the various mage groups of the pact could communicate totally separate from the political settings, and sort of all the power plays that will sometimes characterize other big interactions like that. So it originally just started with us four. Oh, sorry, I also forgot. Also bears the brunt from Bane Scales as well. So we just kind of started talking about this initially, and kind of trying to get things together. And we'd had several meetings since, pulling in some other people, such as Holes in Head from Anzalil. And I've not had the opportunity to have a Dracent in that as well. I think she's been busy when we ended up meeting. But yeah, pulling in people from all the various guilds and kind of talking about it. And I decided that a really great way to kick this off, and then also just to kind of bring Mage RP a little bit more alive for the community as a whole, would be to have a large scale open event. So that brings us to the Grand Conclave, which I've been advertising recently on all of the various forums. So Children of Skyrim, TESO, the Bane Scales, Hammer of Etmore, all of those.
I'm beginning to think you just say things funny because I say TESO, TESO.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
it's, you got a weird character name, and now you're going with TESO.
Well, I mean, everybody's got their bizarre things. And honestly, since I've never actually spoken to anybody about TESO,
you don't have to make fun of me now.
See, the reason I say TESO is because when I think about it in my head, the Elder Scrolls Online. So I think like a hard E sound, TESO.
Okay, I see what you're doing. All right, continue with your conclave before we get too distracted.
Yeah, sorry. So so I had made a post, maybe a month ago, or before I got like insanely busy with my real life. So just kind of gathering some ideas. So some people had submitted some things, and then based on conversations I had had with various people, I added on others. So we came up with this list of events, and in the last several days, I've actually kind of gotten various really excellent mage role players from the community to volunteer to run these various things. So in a couple days, we'll be posting a hard date for this. Should be in about a month from now, though, to give everybody time to kind of flesh out how exactly they want to run their events. But this should be a really big deal, like at least of the size, I think, of Moots. But honestly, in my opinion, a lot more fun because there's not going to be any stuffy meetings or any of that.
And it's specialized. It's an actual like focused thing. I think that's the problem with a lot of the moods is it's just kind of like, hey, let's all get together and there's no set agenda. But with your like conclave, there's like this is for mages. We're gonna talk about mage things.
Right.
That's it.
Although I do want to be very clear, and this is a nice I guess platform to say this, that while this is explicitly a mage event, we've also been very careful to design and choose our events and activities such that they are appealing and welcoming to non-mages as well. Actually, when I was talking to Season Shadow the other day, he had said, "Yeah, hedge mages are our friend." So so we want to address the hedge mages and even just the people who are generally accepting, in character or welcoming of magic, even if they don't practice it themselves. So, as an example, actually, let me just take a look.
As I say, you're also looking for people to help lead some of these events. So
yeah, so I'll announce the ones that I'm still looking for. But so we kind of have three categories of things going on at this event. So we kind of have some lectures, and these are going to be about 30 minutes long, kind of nice and short. So the lectures that we have scheduled now, one of them might change depending on who volunteers for something else. But we've got Ikantar, who's going to be doing a presentation on the fundamentals of enchanting for beginners. So again, you don't need to be an experienced role player, in Magic for that. Then Chiara Telvani is going to be doing a presentation about alchemy, using magic to infuse your potions to make them more powerful. And then or rather Asgot, will be doing a presentation called Draugr Lich. I actually named it after an in-game dice game, which I found based on a lovely flavor item from the Justice add-on. So I'm going to be talking about what separates Draugr from traditional undead. What sort of makes them a unique class of undead. Then we've got events and competitions. So we have the Animunculi Arena, so Dwemer automatons that is going to be beating the crap out of each other. So that should be a lot of fun, and you can place bets on that if you want. So that, I think, would appeal to anybody, pretty much. Then the much anticipated competitive tea dueling, which I'd just like to talk about maybe
I was
for a
say you
second.
have to definitely describe what this is.
Yeah, so you can thank Season Shadow for this, or Malfunction for this. So he had originally brought this up, and he has a link to it. So if you go to the original thread for this event on TESO, you can find this. So it's apparently like a competition where there's set parameters, and the various competitors, they have to brew like the most perfect ideal tea. And then you have a judge who will taste this and critique this and judge the winner. And there's all sorts of requirements and limitations. So it even goes into like what percentage alcohol can your tea drink be. It's really quite fun.
Oh, that
But
sounds very interesting, actually.
yeah, Kitty will be running that. She was all over that.
Now,
so.
what came first? Was it the event or was it Kitty?
One would question, but yeah, Kitty is the original T.
That's right. She's the only one.
Oh yeah, the one and only. And then we've got some wizard duels, nice standard thing. And then I think one of the really fun things that is sort of different, I think, from what any large scale like moot style event has had, is we're going to have a bazaar open at several points during the event. So we're going to have various services and vendors available to people. So this would be another thing that I think would appeal to, especially the non-mages, because if you were in characterly looking for particular services or some sort of magical good or enchanted item, this would be the place to go.
It's
you have the largest.
Is it a little bit like what we did at the Fallowstone Halloween party, where we had different vendors give out items for like trick or treat, as it were?
Yeah. So at that one, they were kind of little gimmicks given out at trick or treat. This one, you would be charged like money, or in-game money, not necessarily real money, but like role play money.
$15, please.
Yeah. No. So you could either be charged like role play money for a role play item or gift, or if you wanted to actually purchase like a legitimate enchantment or a staff or something, then you could provide actual in-game money and obtain that. So so some of our services are like purely role play, and then some of them are actually more legitimate actual out of character effects. So we've got somebody who's going to be running a sort of healing booth. So if you have some nasty lingering wounds, or perhaps a curse put on you by a reach witch, you can get that taken care of. Then we have a diviner and a fortune teller, so that should be really fun. If somebody wants to have their fortune told, no promises on how good it's going to be.
Oh, I remember Jolly, who used to play Rayuna. She would do fortune telling events, and man, was it scary and how accurate.
I
She would
know.
be with the character and whatnot. It was crazy.
So that should be a great time. And then and then Dane is going to be running a clothier, or sort of a robe vendor, so that should be nice. And this is the part where I'm still looking for some help. So if you're interested, please contact me at Asgautr, so ASGAUTR. You can also find me on the forum, but I'm looking for an alchemist or an alchemist supply shop, an enchanter and enchanting supplies vendor, a staff vendor if you have that, and then also just some food stalls, because I mean, it's going to be a big event, so people are going to be hungry or want to drink, and that is encouraged. So yeah.
Sounds like an amazing event. Definitely gonna take a couple hours, and I bet it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. Oh, I did forget one other thing that actually would be of pertinent interest to some role players. We're going to also have an exotic pets or familiars booth. So if you have, with the recent addition of the Crown Store, obtained a pet and are looking for a in-character reason for how you obtained said pet, this could be it.
Oh, okay, that's cool. So you're having a little. Here's this pet cat that you can have for 500
Right.
wolfhounds that everybody's gonna buy. I guarantee you will sell more wolfhounds than cats.
I know. Oh my
I
god.
hope so, anyway,
Although,
because I'm a more dog person than cat.
unless you're talking to Khajiit, because man, they are all over those Alfiks.
That's true, they are. It's a little ridiculous whenever you have cats having cats as pets.
Riding cats.
Yeah, there are 4 different sizes of them. I don't know. It
Kind of
confuses me.
fantastic. But yeah, so that's the event. Should be pretty exciting, and I'll be posting the date soon, so I hope to see people there. Should be a good time.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people make it out for that. So this is the point where you get to say whatever you want to say before we eventually conclude it. And I would actually like to end the show with you reading your prayer to Kine.
Okay. So, I don't know. I guess in closing, I'd just like to say thank you to everybody who makes the community a wonderful place, and especially to my fellow Skyrim citizens who are dearest to my heart. Keep at it. We're doing great things. Really excited about our Nemalton community, among other things. So I guess I'd just say, keep going, because we've got a really great thing going. And damn, it really makes the game more enjoyable than anything else.
I couldn't agree more with you. I think it's a very wonderful thing that we've done. Of course, I am a little biased.
Well, of course. Likewise.
All right, well, if you want to take it away, the spotlight's all yours.
All right. So this is a prayer to Kine, which I wrote some time ago. Gotten some good mileage. Mother of steel, who steals us with her icy breath. Warrior wife, who sanctifies every axe edge. Goddess of the storm, who gifted us with voice. Bless us, Kine. May we serve you with every word. To my kinsmen, my fellow sons and daughters of Kine, I welcome you. In these darkest of days, we fight not just for glory, but for the very freedom of Skyrim. May our swords speak with the fire of our faith, and our shields hold fast with the strength of our conviction. To the stranger folk, once enemies, but now allies in our struggle, go with honor. Though you may never see the halls of valor, or feast by shore's side, songs will be sung of your worthy deeds. To any who fear the sting of spell or sword, I tell you there is nothing to fear. The kiss of death is the kiss of Kine. Our Lady, seeing our deeds and knowing our valor, has not forsaken us, and will show us the way to Sovngarde, to the halls of Shore, great chieftain of the gods. Hear me, goddess of storms, the bringer of rain, the mother of men and Shore's warrior wife. Your sons and your daughters implore you again. Protect those that fight, for they savor their life. Your wind with our blows to strike down our foes. And if we should fall, speed us to our repose. We watch for the hawk on the grayest of days, your servants and advocates, trained in the old ways. And that is it. Thank you, everybody, and have a great night. Nick?
Yeah.
I'm done.
Thanks for the interview, man. Always nice talking to you.
Thanks. Been fun.
I'll see you in game.
Yep. See you in a bit.
All right, thank you. Thanks for watching the show. Getting a little bit more polished. I finally figured out what I'm doing. I still can't talk properly, and there's gonna be me stumbling, but I don't believe in editing stuff, so just deal with it. And I will see you either next week or the week after, or sometime down the road, probably in game first, and we'll go from there. As I said earlier, I want to get more intro videos, and I want to get a solider, more solid intro to the actual show, and I still need screenshots from guilds of like members and stuff. And I think that's about it. Yeah. So I'll see you. Take care. Have a good one.